Hey, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Bolt City Podcast. Dave Palais, Josh Palais, Mario Heron. Going into the last week of the NFL regular season. And for the Chargers, that means the last week of the season because there is no postseason for this team. As Charger fans, you know already. And for us, as we've been very frustrated. Josh, you missed the last show because you weren't able to get Wi-Fi. But at the same time, Mario and I spoke about it just a little bit the other day, how much it sucks that your team does not have a chance to participate in the postseason. And when you're just playing the season out as an NFL fan, you just feel ripped off. There are only 17 games in an entire calendar. And then here you go, you're playing for nothing. And now you have to wait till the following year to get a chance to change the bad taste in your mouth. It's absolutely terrible.
Was there a question in there or was that a comment?
No, I just want you to expand on how I'm very upset.
And I'm with you. I think all three of us feel the same way. The debate that you always have with Padre fans, because you're a diehard Dodger fan, is would you rather have a team that competes the whole season and then plays in the playoffs, or would you rather have a team that plays in the playoffs and then lets you down, or a team that doesn't compete for the playoffs? And the answer to that question has to be you'd rather have a team that competes and makes it to the playoffs. And if they let you down, that sucks, but you at least got to the playoffs. And that's how I feel with this Chargers team. I would prefer we lose in the playoffs and have a bad draft pick than have a terrible season and pick in the top 10.
Yeah, it's just like I said, especially now that we're like the post-holiday window, it's like the ultimate depression, right? Like it's like the ultimate depression pill. Like here's a window where the weather's about to suck and everything's going to suck. And then on top of that, the team that you're rooting for is not going to go to the playoffs. So it's like you don't have like something to be thrilled about right after. And it's just the ultimate, all right, well, now it's dark at 4:00. It's cold as hell. And, here's depression. So it's a fun time of the year, guys. So if you're in that mode, hey, take some vitamin D3. And I would place a future on like the Philadelphia 76ers and have fun.
There you go. Here's the difference right here, Mario, is that Josh and I are in Southern California. You're in Chicago right now. And so obviously it's dark. It's cold. It was snowing on New Year's Eve. Dude, I'm not joking. 20 minits ago, I was in my car with the air conditioning on because it's 78 outside.
Oh, kiss my ass. Kiss my ass.
It was extremely warm today. I literally, in my house, it's like 63 degrees, but outside it's 78 degrees. So I had to grab a sweatshirt. All right. So real quick, Josh touched on something that I think as a sports fan is something needs to be argued. You guys tell me if I'm wrong on this. If the outcome is going to be you don't win the last game of the season, you're going to lose. I agree with what Josh said. You'd rather get to the postseason to say we had a successful season. We kept our fan base engaged. We gave our fan base hope that we're only a few steps away or a step away from winning the whole thing. And we are the one team out of the 32 teams that are champions. And if you get eliminated like the Chargers did and you're kind of just playing the schedule out, that's the worst case scenario. And I understand even if you have the number one overall pick, it's still you're getting one player. You're getting one star, and it's hard for one star to make you a Super Bowl team. Now, for me, losing in the playoffs is better than losing in the Super Bowl. Okay. Now tell me if I'm wrong. I think losing in the Super Bowl is demoralizing like you wouldn't believe as a fan. It hits you so hard in the heart to go, you're right there. I'd rather lose in the AFC or NFC championship game than lose in a Super Bowl. Losing in a Super Bowl is brutal.
Mario needs to speak, so go ahead.
Dude, I completely disagree. The amount of excitement and like the hope you get in the Super Bowl is the best thing ever. And you have like 2 weeks to tell everyone that you're in the Super Bowl. You have 2 weeks to look at all your friends that are in the Super Bowl and tell them up yours. Like you have 2 weeks to celebrate that. That's when I probably have a little bit of issues. That's when I'm probably drinking a little too much during that time. Like that's when it's like the best time in the world. And if you lose, it sucks. But like that ride's it, baby. That ride's the top. I'll take that ride every single time.
It hurts so bad. It's terrible. Josh, what do you think?
I haven't been alive for my team to make the Super Bowl. The Chargers made the Super Bowl in 1994. I was born in 1993. I can't experience that. I can experience the college football playoff and the BCS championship. We can talk about that. I was at the game yesterday where Alabama loses to Michigan. Probably should issue an apology to Mario. I talked a lot of crap to him. He probably Mario's a good guy, though. I'll give that to anybody that wants to listen to this. Mario's a good guy. He doesn't talk crap to me. He wasn't mean in the text messages yesterday. I probably would have been a lot meaner than he is, and he was cool about it. I apologize to all the Michigan fans out there that said your team sucks. They played better than us. They won, and it was demoralizing. I was at the game. It sucked. It hurt. I wanted to cry all the way back down from Pasadena to San Diego, but we made it. And I'd rather have a team that makes it even to the Super Bowl. So I guess I'm with Mario. I'd rather have a team that makes it to the Super Bowl and loses than a team that loses in like the divisional round.
Okay. Hold on, Mario. You're about to say something, but I'm going to say something because this. I want to. If I don't say it now, I won't say it. It won't make any sense. Mario is a perfect friend fan. Okay, and what I mean by that, Mario, is as you said, at least your team makes it to the Super Bowl, and you're excited for 2 weeks and everything else. But the worst friend is the one that your team makes it that far and goes further than all your friends' teams. And as soon as they lose, all your friends talk trash. Dude, your team didn't play in the Super Bowl. My team was there. So why would you sit there? How can you tell me you're a true friend if you're going to sit there and try and make me feel worse? Mario didn't do that yesterday. We're all on a group text. Mario was my opinion, one of the coolest guys out there yesterday because he didn't jump on the, haha, your team lost. It wasn't that move at all. And so I was like, that's how you're a true fan of a sports team. And that's how you maintain friendships, is by not being that guy to rub it in when you know your friend is down. It doesn't work that way. There's one thing about giving guys a hard time, not when it's their team. When it's their team, man, it's like as important as your mom in the hospital. It's a big damn deal. You don't rub it in and make it worse. And you come back tomorrow and you go, hey, we're still friends. And we all know the score. Mario knows that Josh's team, the team I root for, lost. But he wasn't, I almost said a better word. He wasn't a jerk about it, you know? He wasn't a jerk. Congratulations, Mario. You went up a bunch of points on my book.
I fully, before you say anything else, it's solely because I also threw $100 on the Bama. And so I don't know if it was being a good friend or if it was the gambler in me decided to bet Bama. And then I was like, oh, shoot, I lost too. And so I think that was mostly it. I was just kind of sad that I lost money. But yeah, me and Josh, we donated to a sports gambling company this past weekend. So they'll take the donation. We'll get it back soon. But that was a tough loss, guys. Tough loss, fellas. I really thought they had it, especially after that catch on the one and that guy's leg like snapped in half and snapped back in. I was like, whoa, get that guy off the field. But yeah, shout out to Harbaugh. He was being weird. His family's was weirding out a little bit. But counter, guys, with that Bama losing, one, you guys still have that like unreal recruiting class, right? That's like only freshmen, so they're gonna be scary next year. And Harbaugh, one game closer to a title, and one game getting the hell out of Michigan, Josh.
I'm glad you brought that up, and I'm still rocking the shirt today. Roll Tide forever. Quarterback's coming back next year. We'll clean it up. That's the debate that people are talking about. Is Jim Harbaugh more likely to leave Michigan if his team loses in the playoff or if they win the playoff? What do you guys think? Do you think he's more likely to leave if they win the national championship?
He's leaving no matter what. He's leaving Michigan.
Okay.
Jim Harbaugh's not coming back. I mean, all the stories are, and people can disagree with that all you want. There are a couple signs that show Jim Harbaugh is moving on in the NFL. One is he hired a new agent. Why would you hire a new agent when you already have a contract? If you already have a contract and you're set with Michigan and you're making whatever, $10+ million a year, I'm sure it's more than that, especially his deal with Nike, you wouldn't hire a new agent in this situation. There's nothing to negotiate if you already have a deal. You understand what I'm saying? So it's basically you're given a percentage anytime you get an agent. And if you get an agent and negotiate a new contract with Michigan, that's not going to happen. Michigan's going to go, even if you win the national championship, damn it, Jim, everybody's looking at us as cheaters. We always talk about being Michigan men. You brought so much attention to this school that is on us, and everyone says we have to clear out all the negativity, and look what we've done with the Michigan guys and all the hypes, all that stuff. You brought it all on yourself. Michigan did this to themselves. You brought all this negative attention. No one else did. Michigan will be looked at, and don't take this as sour grapes, okay? Because whether it was Michigan or Texas or Washington, it doesn't matter. If whoever wins, and in Michigan's situation, they win the national championship, they're going to be looked at as the 2017 Houston Astros. You cheated. You cheated to get this far. And so overall, that to me, there's one thing where the NCAA has hinted around that Jim Harbaugh could be suspended all of the 2024 season. If he's suspended, there's no point in staying. Right now, even if you win a national championship, you've completely hurt your reputation and the school's reputation. He has to go. He also hired Don Yee this week. Why would he hire Don Yee as his agent? He hired Don Yee while he was in Los Angeles to negotiate with the Los Angeles Chargers. He's already in the process of doing it. He's doing it right now. And when you saw him trying to avoid all the media attention, that's fine. That's what I would have done too. But he met with the Spanish family more than once last week. And there is a deal that they are working on in place. If he doesn't end up with the Chargers, it's because the Chargers didn't pay the bill. But overall, Jim Harbaugh is leaving Michigan, win or lose. He is either going to the Chargers, he's going to the Bears, or he's going to the Raiders. He's going somewhere, but it won't be at the University of Michigan unless the Chargers just say straight out, we aren't going to pay you the $20 million, which is the asking price.
$20 million
Yeah.
for a coach. Yeah,
that's what Sean Payton's basically getting.
No, go ahead, Josh.
What do you think, Mario? No, I know the proposal that Michigan sent Jim Harbaugh was for 10 years, $125 million. So that's why I thought maybe he hired the agent to weigh that deal and then whatever the Chargers are offering. But I'm with you 100% with everything you said. It makes way more sense to go to the NFL when the school is going to be burning down and all these, cheating allegations that look like they're really true. It makes more sense than it doesn't. So I think Jim Harbaugh is more likely to go to the Chargers or the NFL than stay in college. But I think that he is more likely to leave if they win the national championship. It's a way of, saying like I went out on top and I'm going to head out. Kind of reminds me of a little bit of Urban Meyer with Florida when they were great and he went out of there. But I think Urban Meyer is actually a terrible human being. I don't think Jim Harbaugh is a bad human being. I think he's going to go to the Chargers. I'm biased. I really do think he's going to be the Chargers head coach next season.
The hiring the agent, I think, said it all. Like you don't hire, like you said, you don't hire an agent just for just for fun. Yeah, I want a new one. No, you do it for you literally had one. And this guy got a lot of connections in the NFL. He's Sean Payton's agent. He was Tom Brady's agent, Jimmy G's agent. Like this guy, very well connected in the NFL. Probably also a way for him to deal with these, contract negotiation that's going on with the Chargers or the Raiders or the Bears or whoever have you. And he can go, I can kind of focus on this national championship run. I do completely agree that if he wins, I think he's out. I think right now it's about 98% he's out just from everything that's came out. I think he wins. It's 100% because like you said, Josh, he goes out on top. He gets his alma mater their title that they haven't had, I think, since the 90s or maybe even before then.
97, they shared one. It was a joke. I think last solo title I was 1947.
Yeah, they Michigan's a good classic fake college football dynasty, like fake blue blood. But anyways, we can have that debate another day. Anyway, so I think he can do that. And then with his suspension this past year, I think he'll also feel comfortable leaving Michigan kind of in a good spot, right? Like the OC that stepped up, didn't do a terrible job. You can kind of hand it off to him. And great. You can go, all right, you can go keep the dynasty going, keep this flowing, because obviously he has a lot of connections in Michigan. He doesn't want to just leave him out to dry. So I think he feels comfortable in doing that. And that guy's a freaking competitor. And he wants back in the NFL. And he wants to go at the Niners. He wants to prove people wrong. He wants to win. He wants to compete at the highest level. And you win in the national championship in college football, you compete at the highest level there. Now go do it in the NFL. I think that's what Harbaugh wants to do. I think he wants to do with his agent. I'm really curious to say it. And also with that Michigan contract, you mentioned it, Josh, the $125 million. In that contract, it says he cannot accept an NFL job. So it is really big. It's this year it comes down to, will he stay in college football forever or go to the NFL? So this really is his only chance to go if he wants to, or he signs that thing, gets paid for Michigan forever, but he can never go to the NFL.
Okay, there's always a way around things, right? Money always talks.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way it goes. Usually there's a buyout that's involved. Also, if anyone ever says, hey, you're fired from a job, that people cannot keep you from earning a living. I mean, Jim Harbaugh's title, if you ask him, what do you do for a living? I'm a football coach. Okay. Well, I don't work at the University of Michigan anymore. And so you aren't going to let me do what I'm actually qualified to do. I've only done one job my entire life outside of being a player, and that's being a coach. This is what I do. So you're going to tell Jim Harbaugh, it's tongue in cheek because we know he has millions of dollars in the bank, that you aren't going to go let him earn a living. To earn a living, he has to coach football. And of course, there's not a court that would fight that. That's what he does. And so the NFL's offering him a job. Now, the question is which job? There's a way around it. So I won't even play the game, the legal game with Jim Harbaugh. But the Chicago Bears, Mario, I'm glad you're in Chicago in this situation. The rumor is they aren't making a coaching change. The Raiders, there's a rumor they aren't making a coaching change. So are the Chargers the only team that Jim Harbaugh would possibly be interested in? Before it was a month ago, it was three teams: Chargers, Raiders, and Bears. And now all of a sudden, two of the three look like they aren't interested. Is that true? Are the Bears looking to keep their coach?
So this was brought up on Sunday when I was talking to one of the insiders for Odyssey, and he was saying, he's like, look, this is the time of year where every GM, everyone's going, everyone's safe, everyone's safe. and we got in a conversation of wait until after Sunday, because I can tell you this right now. If the Bears play the Packers and they lose to the Packers, Flus is gone. Flus is absolutely gone. You go 0-2 against Green Bay. That means more than anything here. You're gone. You're gone. It doesn't matter. You can't beat Jordan Love. You can't beat Matt LaFleur, who's coaching like he's a high school coach right now. You can't beat them. That's embarrassing. You're out. You can't end their playoff chances. You're out. I think
What's the
that
point
will
spread
come
in
into
that game?
play.
What's
I
the
think
point spread?
3 right
Okay.
now. I'll double check that. But I
Don't you
think
guys
that's
fully expect the Packers to win that game? The Packers look great
What?
against Minnesota. Don't you, both of you, fully expect the Packers to win that game?
they should. I mean, they smoked them earlier in the year, but this defense is a lot different.
Packers looked outstanding the other night.
Bears are
Anyways,
pretty
go
good.
ahead. Sorry, I don't want to throw you off what you're saying. I'm just saying, well, in that case, he's out of a job because I expect the Packers to win.
He should be out of the job. He should be freaking so out of the job. He's a defensive coordinator. That's all he is. I think I think the Bears see themselves as the Detroit Lions of last year. That's legitimately where they think they are right now. Where they're ending strong, they're on this sweet streak, and they're a couple pieces away. I completely agree with you. It's nuts. They shouldn't think this way, but I think that's exactly what they're thinking. It goes, look how the Lions ended last year. Look how hot they ended last year. We can keep this group together. Add a couple pieces with the picks we have.
You guys selling funhouse mirrors in Chicago? What are you guys looking at?
Dude, I completely agree with you. I think it's stupid, but that's just how these people think. Like they literally think that. And I go, no, we need to fire loose Getsy, move out Eberflus, and get it going.
Every fan base is like that. Do you agree? Every fan base thinks they're a piece away, even when their team sucks. I mean, Charger fans, we fall into that category. We always believe that we're a piece away. I mean, right now I feel like we're a lot of pieces away. But heading into this season, I just pushed to the side that we had no depth. Obviously, that's a big freaking problem, and it reared its head this year. But I feel like every fan base, every sport, they feel, oh, we're just one piece away from being competitive. The Bears, to me, might want to consider keeping their head coach. They're not bad. The last time they got blown out was against the Chargers on October 29th. It's been a while since that's happened. They've been competitive in every game since. I don't know. Maybe the Bears should keep their head coach.
I hope they do. I mean, for the Chargers' sake.
Yeah.
I don't know if Charger fans think we're a piece away. We're just a piece of S right now. We aren't one player away at all. You know,
No,
we're far
not at
away.
All. If Jim Harbaugh becomes the head coach, do you think he goes on a run of just drafting Michigan guys? Like Blake Corum yesterday against Alabama was pretty good. We need a running back. You don't think he's going to start drafting his own players?
The fact that John says Jim has no friends, Jim has no loyalty to anything. Jim doesn't have any loyalty to anything. He doesn't care. We'll draft more Alabama guys more Ohio State guys than Michigan guys. He does not care. He's all about winning. Whoever the best player is, that's who Jim wants. I guarantee he does not care.
You got to love that, though, right? As a fan,
I do love it. The scoreboard's the only thing that matters. I can't worry about your feelings. You know?
Yeah.
I already recruited you once. You want me to recruit you twice? Were you insane? You're lucky I picked you the first time. That's what
you know who did that actually? Pete Carroll did that when he went to the Seahawks.
Yeah,
he had no alliance towards USC guys, and I respect it. Like, dude, if you're not going to pick up the guys from your college because you want to win, go ahead.
Remember that?
I would.
He took Earl Thomas over Taylor Mays.
Yeah, and it was the right choice.
It was the right choice.
Mile. Yeah, he wouldn't even pick up Lendell White, I believe, with the Seahawks.
Yeah,
you didn't want him. Lendell White had like 1 million touchdowns at USC.
There's that good. You guys ever seen the movie Miracle? Right?
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
Yeah, there's a great line in that one when he puts the goalie of his rival in front of the goalie he had in college and goes, he just won a national championship. He goes, I don't care. I want to win.
Yeah.
Well, hey, that's what you got to do. And he beat Russia. Or not Soviet Union.
It's honestly one of the greatest wins in United States history. All right, so here's the deal. So if Harbaugh ends up on his way here, which we hope, I mean, that's what everyone's hoping. I don't know what the case is in Jim's mind that he needs to win on the way out the door. I think the biggest fear in Jim's mind is not being able to coach in 2024 if the NCAA suspends him. And so that's why I think he's honestly thinking about the NFL. Also, don't forget, a year ago at this time, all the stories were out that Harbaugh was looking to leave Michigan too. Yeah. And so, you know, overall, the guy's an outstanding coach. He's won wherever he's been. We've gone through his resume, USD, Stanford, 49ers, now Michigan. I mean, if you're Brady Hoke, the coach that was there before Jim Harbaugh at Michigan, I mean, you feel like a dope. And then you're going, you know, look at this guy who's constantly is good at this. This is what Jim Harbaugh is really good at. and it's winning football games. And I'm sorry if his personality is too big for the Chargers, but it's exactly what the Chargers need. It is. You need someone to come and change the culture, because right now, outside of Khalil Mack and Josh, I know you saw the game, but you weren't able to comment on the game. Outside of Khalil Mack, man, and Eric Hendricks, who basically played the best game of his career with the Chargers the other day, no one on that team looks like they're playing like it's the last game of their life, and it means everything to them. The effort stunk for the Chargers on Sunday.
I think that's been the problem with the Chargers for a long time. They've had a coach that hasn't had the culture behind them, where players are going to bust their ass every game, and you're going to expect something from this Chargers team. Every time you watch a Chargers game, it's like, who's going to show up and who isn't? There's only a few guys you can really rely on. It's like Keenan Allen, Khalil Mack for the most part, Justin Herbert, and everybody else. You're just hoping they show up on game day. The thing about Jim Harbaugh, also about coming to the Chargers and creating a whole culture change, not only do you need that, but he's going to do it with his guys. And I think the Chargers have had a huge problem with John Spanos. We've talked about it ad nauseum, picking the wrong guys. I'm curious if Jim Harbaugh does something the Chargers haven't done ever, and that's picking guys that have that toughness to them. Maybe kind of shady characters, maybe have got in trouble in the past with certain things. The Chargers have shied away from those types of players for as long as I've been a fan. I wonder if Jim Harbaugh kind of brings in a new type of player into the Chargers. I'm not talking about people that have a long criminal history. I'm talking about somebody that plays with an edge. And I don't think the Chargers have had that in a long time.
Yeah, and he's the type of guy that can kind of keep those guys right on the edge, where it's like, all right, you're not going to go too far out. You're going to kind of stay where you need you. It's the Mike Tomlin specialty, right? Like, he's one of the best in the business at that. He can take any player and go, all right, I can get the best out of him and make sure that we got his FU mentality that we need, but then we also don't have him where he goes overload and, he's throwing a temper tantrum where, like, we just can't control him anymore. And I don't know, in a Draymond Green type of situation. So I think that's something that Harbaugh does well. Tomlin obviously does well. Guys, I saw his press conference today, and I wanted to bring it up. Is, like, Vrabel going to be available? Like, is he going to be available? Because, like, I saw a press conference today, and I know he gave, like, a fired speech, but, like, is he going to be available, like, at the end of this year? Like, is he going to get the boot of Tennessee?
Josh, do you want to go? You want me to go?
I'll go first. He wants to leave. He's in a situation where he wants to get fired, but he can't say that. It's like when you're pitching and you're getting lit up and your coach isn't taking you out, and you keep looking over. You're going to do something about this, but you don't want to be a big P word and tell your coach to take you out. He wants to be taken out. He doesn't want to be there anymore. That team stinks. And if you ever watch a Titans game for the last, dude, even when they were good, that team is like, holy crap, watching paint dry. It's the worst team in the NFL to watch. I'm guarantee you he wants to get out of Tennessee. His comments, the comment he made a month ago when he said, we did a bad job coaching, it's on us. That's like basically saying, just please fire me. Please get me out of here. No, you never hear a coach say that.
Yeah, and they got a new GM last year. So at the end of last season, they have a new general manager, and the new general manager, of course, brought in Will Levis. There are times I look at Levis because I always look at a franchise and go, what's the quarterback situation? Where I'm going, I think Levis might be the guy you want to stay with for a little bit. If I was Tennessee, I would stay with Levis for a little bit longer, just because they have so many holes like the Chargers do. Josh is right. I watch a ton of Titan games. My dad used to be a Titan season ticket holder, so I watch a lot of the games. A bunch of my friends are season ticket holders in Tennessee. And they are the most boring team, and they have been forever. They just run. It's like watching paint dry. And like, I'm a Derrick Henry guy because he was at Alabama, but man, to watch teams that's constantly try and run the ball, and if you can't run the ball, the game's over. Vrabel, I think, is a really good coach, and I'm not a fan of normally of defensive coaches now in this league because it's built for offense. But he wants out. Couldn't agree with Josh more on that. I think honestly he wants to be the one that replaces Bill Belichick in New England. That's where he played, and I think he's would like to go to a different ownership group, because the Titans don't have a good one, and also a team with a fan base of the Patriots who wore the uniform. He understands the pride. He needs a change for the Titans to fix things. Now, would I hire him here? Is that where you're going with that question, Mario, about Vrabel being available? I mean, I like everything about him. I just don't want another defensive guy. I don't. I would rather see an offensive guy come in. That's where I'm at.
How do you fix the Chargers defense? Sorry,
it's talent, man. It's talent. The one thing you guys brought up, Mike Tomlin, is I always think it's like the city kind of makes you that guy. I mean, the weather's not great. The field's always the worst in the NFL. They put a ton of money into their defense. You know, the Steelers, we've spoken about this before, have the most expensive defense in the history of the NFL, but the lowest paid offense in the history of the NFL also. So you go, well, there's a reason why you aren't winning games. Um, Mike Tomlin is, to me, one of the best coaches in the history of this league. I mean, he's been absolutely amazing, and those guys all run through a wall for him. And if you look at Mike Tomlin, you look at the size of players, you know, like we joke about Rabel will, like, you know, take you behind the practice facility and beat the hell out of you. Those guys are all afraid of Mike Tomlin. Every player on the Steelers is afraid of Mike Tomlin. And he commands respect. Number one, he has a history of winning before they got there. And two, man, there's something about Mike Tomlin. Remember against the Ravens where he walked out on the field and tried to trip that guy, trying to return that kickoff for a punt, and you're like, look at this guy. And then remember he put his shoulder out. Remember he crossed the white line. He put his shoulder out trying to take a guy out, and you're like, this guy's a badass. Like I love Mike Tomlin. I can't imagine Staley doing that. No. But so overall, I want someone that has a presence. All three of those guys, you know, meaning Harbaugh, Rabel, Tomlin, they all have that presence, and I think this Charger team needs it. Josh, you mentioned guys that play with an edge. Omar, you said it. Rodney Harrison's the last guy I can think of that was that guy that had that edge on the Chargers, and the Chargers used to go off on him all the time because you'd get fined by the league all the time for hits. And the Chargers used to, you know, we're going to bench him and we're going to punish him. And instead of encouraging it, and then guess what? As soon as the Chargers let him free, who was the first guy to grab him? Bill Belichick grabbed him, put him on the Patriots, and he kept going to Super Bowls with the Patriots. And if you remember when he was first Super Bowl with the Patriots, he broke his arm during the Super Bowl, didn't even come out of the game. So I'm not missing this. I'm playing. Imagine playing safety with a broken arm. Every time you make a tackle, that pain's that much worse. He did not care. Because that guy, Rodney Harrison, was one of the best Chargers of all time, and yet they let him go away, and they kept ridiculing him every time he did something wrong. That's exactly what I'm for. I'm with you guys on this edge thing. We need toughness.
Yeah, a little bit of craziness, a little bit like when he goes on the field, like, all right, yeah, I
love
nuts, yeah,
well, can't judge crazy, man. If you're playing against somebody that's crazy, it freaks you out.
Okay. Who is Ronnie? Ronnie Harrison cannot be the last guy in the Chargers that had an edge. There's no way. No way.
Honestly, I think you tell me who else. Steve Foley got shot all of a sudden in his driveway. I don't know where the hell that came from, but he got shot back in like 2007.
Yeah. How do the Chargers continuously draft guys that are just like nice people? Like that sounds so bad to say, but
they do.
Like, why don't they draft any a-holes?
I don't want a player on my team that's up for NFL Player of the Year for the community work. I don't need it. Doesn't give me any.
We don't need a lot of those guys. Remember what Tyrann Mathieu fell to the third round because he smoked weed?
Yeah.
Like really?
Yeah.
We're not gonna pick a guy because he smokes weed.
Yeah.
Come on, dude. The guy's a great safety. The Chargers have always shied away from these guys. That's why they always end up with Notre Dame guys. Like nobody's scared of a Notre Dame guy. Like that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
You know, Mario knows that.
I've seen a lot of people talk a lot of smack to you guys like, dude, he's 4 times your size. He goes, I'm okay. I'm like, all right, well, there you go. That Tyrann Mathieu thing's crazy to me. Like I love looking back, like sitting at 25, like I love looking back and reading those and like seeing the exaggeration of that, being like really, or like Jason Williams, they're like, oh, he's this biggest partier, and it's like, well, you actually look back in interviews, he goes, I just smoked a little weed. And I was like, well, that's a huge difference from that and a partier and having a problem. So shout out to all the awful sports writers that wrote that back in the day. Hope you guys are all doing well. Not really.
Yeah, Laramie Tunsil with the gas mask, best right tackle in the NFL.
Yeah, I always forget about that. Yeah, who cares?
Yeah, who cares? Can he play football? Yeah, okay. We'll take him. Jalen Carter, I don't know. He's probably like the best rookie defensive player in the NFL. Like, who cares, dude? Get some of these guys. It's the most ridiculous
thing.
Fill the
gap? Okay. That's fine with me.
Dude, geez,
I hate to say it. I know everything we said is completely, not good public relations, but the saying nice guys finish last is out there for a reason. I mean, it's true. I just care about the scoreboard. I'm tired of looking at the scoreboard that says Chargers lose to the Broncos twice in one season. I mean, it's just ridiculous to sit there and go,
ridiculous.
This team stinks right now. And I don't care how nice your guys are. Look, if you can get both, win Super Bowls and have a nice guy like the Rams had Andrew Whitworth win NFL Man of the Year, that's great. That's a plus. But guess which trophy, man, I'm looking at if I'm walking through the Rams facility? I'm looking at the Lombardi trophy, not Andrew Whitworth's trophy of him hugging a little kid. I want to win championships. I waited too long.
I was talking to Shane Gillis at the Alabama LSU game, and I asked him what's the problem with the Notre Dame team. He's a diehard Notre Dame fan. And he said, our defensive line is soft. They're not very good. I go, you guys have too many nice guys on the defensive line. He goes, that's been the problem with Notre Dame forever. They always get guys that have a clean image instead of guys that are like tough. You know, they always lean that direction. I really think the Chargers are like that for the NFL. There's so many guys where you look at that guy, like he seems like a great dude. Michael Davis seems like a phenomenal human being. I'm so happy for him for that. Can he cover anybody? No. Which one do I care about more? Can he play defense? Marcus Peters, I wouldn't trust in the room with anybody. Would I want him on my team when he's in his prime? Yeah, I'll take him every day of the week. I would love to see the Chargers change that up for once. Every time we watch the draft, you look at it, you're like, this guy right here, he seems like a really good dude. He probably sucks. You know, that's why the Chargers missing all their later picks. They always get guys that are good guys instead of good football players. Hot take.
There you go.
Yeah. Do you guys want to talk about a little playoff picture?
Yes, I do.
All right. So right now, as it looks for people that don't know, the Ravens, Dolphins, Chiefs, Browns, all in the playoffs, and the hunt still Jags, Bills, and the Colts on the bubble. Texans, Steelers for the AFC side, NFC side. Also, Colts being up there is just still so ridiculous.
And if the Jags win on Sunday against, I believe they play the Titans, Jags will be the team that goes to the playoffs, winning that division, correct? Winning
yes,
the
they
AFC
take
South?
the division.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe. Yeah, because they swept the Colts. So they would need to lose, and then Colts need to beat the Texans for the Colts to take the division.
Yeah.
So a lot going on. The matchups in the AFC as they stand right now, it'd be Jacksonville versus Cleveland, and then winner would play the Ravens. And Kansas City versus Buffalo. Hell of a matchup. And then Miami versus Indy. Quick question for you guys. Which team in the AFC would you say in the playoffs right now? Like excluding like the Ravens, obviously. But like, which of these like kind of wild card teams or lower bottom teams is the last team you'd want to face? Like the team that you'd be like, I am all set going there or facing them.
The team that doesn't win the division that I don't want to face, it's the Browns. It's the Browns. I love this Joe Flacco story. It sounds ridiculous. Like I was never a Joe Flacco fan. You know, it was always a joke. Flacco always fell in that conversation, and Trent Dilfer and I'm drawing a blank on the other guy, Brad Johnson, who won the Super Bowl with the Buccaneers. But dude, if you look at Joe Flacco's numbers, they're very similar to Russell Wilson's, supposedly, as we say, Hall of Fame numbers. You know, so Joe Flacco to play the way he's playing is insane. If you watch that game last week against the Jets, not only did he throw for him, I think he threw for 296 yards in the first half, and then you see him on the sideline falling asleep. That was that was crazy. It's like, hey, I know I haven't had a chance to play, and here I'm on national TV as you know the Thursday night game. I'm just going to sit down, and he just starts dozing off like this on the bench, and like this game is too easy for this guy. Look, I'll give credit right here to you, Mario. You said watch out for the Browns before the season started. I thought you're crazy. They're like on their fifth quarterback. The Browns should have the coach of the year, and the Cleveland Browns are playing fantastic. Do I expect them to go to the Super Bowl? I do not. But I would not want to face the Cleveland Browns right now.
Dude, if you were to tell me that Joe Flacco is a quarterback, Nick Chubb would tear his ACL and be out for the year, and they'd be one of the best teams in the NFL, I'd say you're nuts. But that's where we are. Joe Flacco's on his third team since the Ravens, a team that, you know, people really crapped on him when he's on the Ravens, thinking the defense carried him all the way through. And here he is. I mean, he has as many yards already as Johnny Manziel has had his time with the Browns. I mean, the dude's on fire. Not that Johnny Manziel did anything, but the dude's on fire. I wouldn't want to face the Browns. I think they're the fourth best team in the AFC. Where would you put them? I think the Ravens are so far ahead of everybody, though. It's not even close.
Oh, the Ravens are, especially after this past weekend, they're far in advance, better than everyone. I think that's just for certain right now. I'd say the Browns because to be honest with you, like the Chiefs don't look great. The Jags, Trevor Lawrence has every part of his body part is broken. And I think mentally he might be broken too. So I don't have any faith in the Jags. Bills are put up there because just Allen, you have no idea what he's going to pull. And Diggs hasn't been playing great for him. And they've had guys all over the field step up. Makes me wary. And something that secondary that's filled with injuries can make plays everywhere. So that's a team I still worry about. So I'd probably say And the Dolphins are so fake, but I still have to put them at 2. So I'd say Ravens, Dolphins, Bills, and then Browns would be right there for me too. Coach of the year. I don't know how Stefanski doesn't not just pull everything away from it. Like you said, Chubb gone, Watson gone, wasn't even playing his best either, and yet they're sitting here in the playoffs.
5 quarterbacks.
Yeah, 5. And they're sitting here in the playoffs, and people are like, yeah, don't face them. You do not want to be against them. And this is where they're at right now. It's crazy impressive. It's not a team I want to face. And they're playing with house money. They're literally playing with house. There's nothing they can lose. Flacco's sitting back there and goes, dude, I don't care. I'm going to go chuck it to Amari Cooper, and I truly don't care where this goes because I'm probably not going to be on the team next year. So who the hell cares? And a team playing with house money is a scary team to play.
I agree. I agree with you. You know, it's for me, the Bills are I would put the Bills as the second best team in the AFC right now over the Dolphins right now. I mean, Waddle, I know it didn't play last week. Tyreek Hill's banged up a little bit, but the Dolphins play well against teams that have losing records and really only play well when it's a home game. I mean, it's going to get cold eventually for Miami. I mean, I'd love to see Miami do well. As a fan right now, Miami's my favorite team to watch in the NFL, but I don't expect the Dolphins to do much either. I think it's cheap speed for the Dolphins. But the Bills, pretty impressive when you look at all the injuries they've had. I believe half their defense is gone. Pretty impressive.
Yeah, so
I love, by the way, I love the fact that Diggs. Sorry, Josh, you broke up.
Sorry, I just said you have to go through Baltimore to win, and I don't see any team doing that.
No,
I mean, look what happened to the Dolphins. It just looks like they're not even playing the same sport.
True. Not even close to the same thing.
The crazy thing about the Bills also is Diggs hasn't done anything.
Which is great. Yeah. Remember the whole thing that happened about a month ago? Remember where Diggs, his brother, he needs to get out of there. And I was like, all right, if I'm Josh Allen, I'm not even looking at you, even if it says first option on the play sheet, because you're the one that saved my career. Hold on a second. I'm the guy that has the ball, decides where it goes. I'm glad that Diggs is struggling.
Yeah, he can't say anything. His whole complaint was, I'm having these yards, but we're not winning. Now it's the opposite. Now you kind of tied yourself in a knot. You can't do anything now. You're winning these games.
Yeah.
Love it.
It's also like just funny too, is like that's gone away now too. Like he's like struggling right now and they're winning. And you're like, oh, so you're still not talking. Interesting. It's crazy how that works. But I think that's also scary for the Bills though, is like when one of your best players is not even on that hot streak. Like if the Chiefs were winning right now and Kelsey was putting up the numbers he was putting up, I'd be terrified of them. Because I'm like, dude, we haven't hit the Kelsey, explosion yet. But like, no, he hasn't played well and they're losing. Like that's when I'm like, okay, then I'm pretty fine on betting against them from, I don't know, to the end of the season. But them on the road.
Yeah. Okay, let's say the Chiefs are they win one game and then they lose the next playoff game. All right. What is the question for the Chiefs? Because everyone's saying, well, here the Super Bowl champions, they keep going to the Super Bowl. Kelsey's getting older, but he has years, on his career if he wants to continue playing. Kelsey hasn't looked good in over a month. So let's say the Chiefs are out after one win and then they lose the next one. What's the future for the Chiefs? Is that a good sign for the Chargers? Go, hey, the AFC West is there for the taking?
No. As long as Patrick Mahomes is there, I don't think the AFC West is ever there for the taking. They added in two new tackles. Matt Nagy calls the plays, and he helps out. And they have an old tight end. They got rid of all their receiving threats. It's like, what did you think was going to happen eventually?
Exactly.
You guys are so confident. I think they're just closer to being good again, to be honest. I think they fix up, adding more threats for Patrick Mahomes. I think they're going to be a good team again because that defense is pretty good.
The defense is good and it's young. It's very young, which is, I think, if that's a bright side for the Chiefs. I think this is definitely the year where you go, yeah, we found out that Mahomes isn't Brady. You can't just put him with everyone. It's going to work. I think the thing they have to do right away is as soon as this season ends, as soon as Mike Evans does not have a Buccaneer jersey, you call him and then you call him again and you call him again and you call him again. You're the ex-girlfriend or boyfriend that still misses them and you call him about 6 times at 3 a.m. That's what you are. That's what you have to be to get him because he's much needed for this team. Mahomes needs someone. Look at Evans' numbers with Jameis, with Baker, with Brady. He's consistent. He's great. And that offense with Mahomes, they would take the AFC West back. Like they legitimately would. Like that would be a concern and they would take it. even if when you have dumb Matt Nagy back there as your offensive coordinator. I think that's what the Chiefs have to do. If they don't get a receiver and they think they can just run this all back, then yeah, I think AFC West is wide the frick open.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
I got a
How's the
prediction.
NFC look?
Hold on, I got a prediction for you, Mario.
Okay.
Patrick Mahomes' new target for next season, T. Higgins. It just makes all the sense in the world.
Really?
That's exactly what they need. A guy that could be. Don't you think T. Higgins is tired of hearing about Jamar Chase? If you were as good as T. Higgins and you had to hear about Jamar Chase all the time, you'd be like, dude, I don't know. I'm a top 10 receiver in the league too, but nobody gives me enough credit. Let me go be with the best quarterback in the world. I totally can see T. Higgins going to the Chiefs.
I was hoping he'd be a Charger, I'll be honest with you. You know?
He wouldn't be a bad pickup.
Well, he's going somewhere. I mean, the Bengals aren't going to pay him. So he's going somewhere. I was just hoping he'd be a Charger. Anyway.
I mean, there's not a lot.
If I had to choose if I'm him, I'm probably going to the Chiefs. You know, I'm going with Andy Reid. Depends who your head coaches, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to think who else is like going to be. Calvin Ridley will be up for a contract. I mean, he hasn't really lived up. Michael Pittman will be a great number 2. The Colts don't resign him. God, don't not put him as your number 1, but number 2, he'll cook for you.
The Colts love those number 2s. Like when I was telling everyone T.Y. Hilton was a number 1, he was never a number 1. Please.
Nicest guy in the world, though.
That's fine. Good. I don't want him on the Chargers. And done with those guys. I don't
He
need
loved Benihana. Sold Benihana, him at Benihana a lot.
Yeah, no.
He did. He took up 2 tables. He had a lot of people.
Why? Oh, okay. He had a lot of people with him. I mean, he's not a big guy.
Yeah. I saw him and
Okay.
I went, hey, why? I was like 12.
Saddest thing ever. It was 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. Yeah.
Yeah. We can hit NFC really quickly because for what they have right now. So obviously Niners 1, Cowboys 2, Lions 3, Eagles 4, Rams 5 in the hunt, Bucks, Packers on the bubble, Seahawks, Saints, and Vikings. The possible matchups right now. Actually, I'll ask you guys the same question I asked from the AFC. Is there any team in the NFC that you're just terrified of that you wouldn't want to play? Besides the obvious.
Well, I hate to say it. It's the Cowboys. The Cowboys have 12 guys against 11. You know, let's be honest. You have the Cowboys and you have the referees. It's now it's the Cowboys. I cannot stand the Dallas Cowboys, my least favorite organization in all the sports. But right now Dallas is playing well. They play better at home, and now because of what happened in the Lions game, all of a sudden the Cowboys are in pretty good shape until they have to face the 49ers. It kind of stinks that they're going to get a chance to put a run together. The game I'm looking forward to, man, I wish it was today because I'm looking forward to it for weeks. It's this Lions-Rams matchup. It's Matthew Stafford going back to Detroit. I think it's one of the coolest stories of the NFL, and I want to see what happens here. Jared Goff going against Matthew Stafford, who was shipped out right before the Rams won the Super Bowl. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens. I bet you Matthew Stafford gets a huge ovation, but at the same time, Lions fans will root for that team first, and they should. But I'm looking forward to see a Rams-Lions matchup in Detroit.
Rams are the team to me, Mario, that I wouldn't want to face. For some reason, something about the Rams scares me. And that's crazy because we watched the Rams in the preseason against the Chargers. I know preseason doesn't mean anything. You go, this team really, really sucks. Like, their backups are the worst backups I've ever seen in my life. And they're pretty good. And they got good weapons, and Puka Nacua and Kyron Williams look great. Dude, if I would love to see them play the Lions. I mean, it's just going to be amazing if that happens. Jared Goff, he probably wants to win this game more than any quarterback would want to win any game in the NFL. He has to hate the Rams for shipping him out to 8 Mile. Yeah, I'm living in the nicest part of the country. Now I live in 8 Mile. I mean, he doesn't live in 8 Mile, but you know what I mean? Like, he's in Detroit. It's not the same thing. Dude, the amount of weapons on the field for the Rams versus the Lions, dude, that's as good as football gets, as good as NFL football gets.
Agree.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think the Rams are the worst nightmare for every NFC team. They got 2 great rookie pass rushers to go with Aaron Donald, which is scary. And then on top of that, you have Puka Nacua, and then you have Cooper Kupp, and then you have Kyron Williams, who's just became a top 5 running back in the league all of a sudden. Then you have Stafford, who's looking like prime Stafford all of a sudden. And then on top of all that, you have a Super Bowl winning coach who is one of the best offensive minds in football, who is has a lot of experience in playoff runs and what to do in the playoffs in key moments. I think they're a nightmare to plan against. I think a nightmare to face. They're exciting. They're going to wear you down. They're going to make the game tough for you. And I don't think there's really anyone else. Like, obviously, the Niners are like a very solid team in the NFC. But I have zero faith in the Cowboys. They can kick rocks. I have zero. Like, the refs can be for you, and you still almost lost because Mike McCarthy's that much of a freaking idiot as a head coach and is one of the worst coaches down the stretch. One of the worst coaches at managing a game. He is so bad, and I want him to stay in Dallas so badly because he's so good at doing good enough to stay. He did it with Green Bay for so long. He's doing it with Dallas. So Dallas, buckle up because it just gets worse for you. They're the only other team, and then Eagles. Their defense is just. I mean, that defense is a nightmare.
Real quick, let's touch on the Eagles on this. Okay, so the Eagles couldn't be playing worse. It looks like they aren't going to fix it. I mean, I keep picking them to win every week. You lose at home to the Cardinals. How embarrassing is that? Look at the Cardinals. 2 of their wins against the Cowboys and against the Eagles. But you look at Philadelphia, they desperately need to get back on the right page, and they can't seem to do it. And they're sliding down. They were just in the Super Bowl a year ago. Most people expected them to return to be even better after the draft. And at the same time, they're going to, let's say they fall short in the playoffs. Is Sirianni basically next year, he better win or he's out in Philadelphia? I mean, can you be in a Super Bowl and 2 years later be out of a job?
100%. 100% with
I
that
agree.
roster that they have every player in the world on that team. That defense has so many guys that should be capable of doing their job. Offense too. They have the best offensive line in the league. They got a quarterback that people think is a top, 3 quarterback in the world. They got 2 great receivers, good tight end. What do they not have on that team? Nick Sirianni, if he doesn't win, at least make it to the conference championship game, you have to get rid of him.
Yeah, I mean, I think the big thing they have to do is they need a new defensive coordinator, and their offensive coordinator is like rumored to get another job, but we'll see with that. Losing your coordinators, I think that's really what you can tell is how good the coach is. That's how Harbaugh is one of the best coaches in the league because he's stuck around and he's changed offense and defense coordinators multiple times. Obviously, like when we talked college football earlier, like Nick Saban, he's known. I mean, if you want a career change, you go to Nick Saban and go, please let me be a coordinator, and then your career's changed. And I think that's the problem with Sirianni is like I think he's a good coach, but I think it's tough when you lose both coordinators and you have all this talent, and it's hard to continue that success. I think that's what he's seeing right now. I think he'd have if they go like 500 next year, then I think he's gone. But I think that's what it had to be the case. 500 and maybe get swept by the Cowboys because again, that's what they care about more than the most. I think then he's gone. But this year is not a good the way it's ending and the way that fan base reacts and the media that they have them of how they react. It is not going good. Like they keep forgetting that they had a MVP caliber player at quarterback, and I think they don't realize that.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about a franchise that's going to run into money problems in the near future. It's Philadelphia. We talk about that window. Philadelphia right now is using their window, and they're wasting years. I mean, how many teams have 2 number ones just as your wide receivers? Even have a great kicker. I mean, everything about that team should be they're pushing for championship. It should be Philadelphia and San Francisco in the NFC Championship game. Everyone thought that's what you were going to see, and right now it doesn't look like it's going to be that matchup at all. It should be interesting the way it plays out. I'm sure I haven't looked at the odds, but Mario, I'm guessing the odds are that at the Super Bowl everybody's predicting is the Ravens and the 49ers, a rematch of when the Harbaugh brothers went against each other. But right now will be interesting as the playoffs get going, a week from this weekend. And for people who want to know, Charger-wise, the Chargers play on Sunday this week. It was a TBA on your Chargers schedule for the longest time. Didn't know if it's going to be a Saturday game or a Sunday game, but they will play the Chiefs on Sunday this week. So it will be the end of the season for the Chargers. Thank goodness that we can move on and start focusing on something other than this disaster where this team's going to finish more than likely with 1 win inside your division. Unbelievable. Who saw that coming? We'll be back on Thursday. We're going to be making our picks again. At the same time, we'll break down what's going to happen in that Charger-Chiefs matchup. We'll see if the Chiefs have anything to play for. What kind of lineup can you expect to see from the Chiefs? And is it better for the Chargers, of course, to kind of do the same thing that the Chiefs plan on doing? We'll talk about it as far as what kind of game we can expect to see on Sunday when the Chargers host the Chiefs for the final game of the 2023 season. Again, if you're watching and listening to the show through YouTube and leave comments, we greatly appreciate it. Again, we read every single one of them. And if you're listening to the Bolt City podcast on the Odyssey app, appreciate that as well. But we'll be back in 2 more days. So for Mario Heron, Josh Pele, I'm Dave Pele. We'll see you on Thursday.